Let's start our junk projects with these dollar baskets that I've had forever from Target. I'm wetting this down quite a bit, and then I'm using the multitasker to really get in. This is the DIY paint spring sampler kit for 2026, and it is full of so many fun colors. This is only in the spring sampler is this new Pearl Glaze, and there's just a little paint in each of these, but you're gonna be amazed at how many projects I'm gonna get out of just a little bit. I made these two bases. I used the Pearl Glaze on this. I used Queen Bee on this, and then Decoupage over it. I used a lot of electrified, and I still have quite a bit left. Wallet, these two plastic trays that I found in my neighbor's trash. And yes, I go through my neighbor's trash. I did this basket also with electrified. This was a $1 basket from Target years ago, and this I did in Farm Fresh, this old picnic basket with some IOD transfers. I have so much paint left. Let's get started. Next, I'm doing some seed packets. I was part of a seed exchange from Joyful Artist. So DIY paint makes amazing watercolor. I got those envelopes really wet, and I am just using one super thin coat of all the colors. Actually, I don't think I used Kissing Booth, but I'm just going over one coat. I'm gonna let that totally dry, and then we're gonna put some really fun foil transfers on that. Now let's take a look at what's going on out here. I have a lot of frames, a metal tray. I have a thing for spindles. A lot of spindles. Here is the furniture collection. Everything needs a lot of work. I challenged myself for the next several videos to only use things I already have. So let's take a look at what's already in my office. There's a lot of stuff that can be upcycled. In case you're wondering, egg cartons are for paper mache, of course. I found these plastic trays in the trash when my neighbor was moving. I spray primed them with one primer coat, and now I'm using one thin coat of electrified DIY paint. I'm gonna let that totally dry, and then I'll go over with another. The plastic obviously is not porous, so your first coat should just go on really thin and let that dry, and then you can see how nicely it looks when you put that second coat on. Okay, I have some old liquor bottles that I, again, found out when I was walking, and I'm going to paint them with vintage linen, and on the other one, I'm gonna do Queen Bee. So again, glass, not porous. I'm gonna disguise some of the like indentations and weird stuff on the bottle. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know what it is. I am using Queen Bee on this. Both of these are only gonna need 2 coats. Free, totally free. That started on the top and just lost steam. Some lamps, let's take a look back here. Here is another collection of all kinds of things that goes all the way back there. So I have a lot of stuff to work on. This should last me at least another 5-6 videos, so stay tuned. Let's talk about picnic baskets. I have a thing for picnic baskets. I found this one at one of my favorite Goodwills in Berkeley, California, next to my favorite Thai place. Let's talk about those stickers they put on. So this has been sitting for a while, and it was only $5.95, which is cheap here. I don't know what picnic basket prices are at thrift stores where you live. I have these like little plastic scrapers I got from Amazon, and they certainly make it easier, but why? Why do they have to have so much goo on the back of them? So I got most of it off. I'm gonna definitely need to use some vinegar water to get the rest. Time for paint. I love painting picnic baskets so much. I'm using a thin coat of Farm Fresh, and because there's enough paint in the sampler to do so many different things, I'm using the multitasker to get into all those little crevices. You can see how easy it spreads. The multitasker is one of my favorite brushes. It holds a ton. Lightly sanding the trays here. You may not like the sound of sanding, but I do. So sorry if it's fingernails down chalkboard. It's really important to wipe all that extra dust off and before you add a transfer. So again, going with the Papillon, I'm using an entire sheet with that gorgeous butterfly in the center. And basically, it works a little different than the other transfers. What is on the foil is going to come off, and it looks like almost like a stencil as you're pulling it up. So just again, like your regular transfers, back and forth, don't force it. If some of it comes up with the foil still on your sheet, just lay it back down and just keep pressing. For the other tray, I'm using the IOD Madeline transfer. There are literally so much detail. I have used this again and again and again for so many projects. So I am just doing the same process. You know the drill. Lay it down, stick it to it, and then gently burnish with that stick. Let's take a trip into what used to be my kids' playroom and is now my workshop studio and shipping area. I have a lot of stuff in random corners. It's a nice, big, light room, and I have made a profession of collecting crap. So you can see back here, there's much more frames that I don't know where they came from. And then I have all of my partially used IOD. There's a cool footstool waiting to be made over. I painted this wallet. It has a butterfly on it. I painted it a while ago, I think a blue color. This is just an old thrift store wallet. I'm going to put one more coat on it, and then I'm going to put either some IOD transfers or an inlay. But let's do one more coat. Second coat of electrified went on, and now I'm using the DIY paint and IOD collaboration Vita Flora inlay. I'm using a generous amount of clear liquid patina, and I am putting my paint side down right into that. I really prefer this method with the clear patina when working with the inlays. Please excuse the corner of my phone and the screen there. You're gonna see it there for a little bit. Look at these amazing flowers. Now, note, when you put your inlay down, do not move it around. It's great if you can start with smaller ones first. I like to spray the non-paint side of it and then put it down and then commit. Don't move it around because that paint is activated. I'm using a brayer to just make sure that all parts of that inlay totally stuck. You wanna make sure that there's full contact, that your inlay is making total contact with your wet surface. And I think more is more in a situation like this. Let's add one more flower. So here's my brilliant idea for this other liqueur vase. I have this super cool grunge, I think it's called grunge, decoupage paper. I have a little bit left from upcycled. I did this really cool buffet outside that I use for my garden tools. I am so not a decoupage expert, but I think I have enough so we'll almost fit around the whole thing. We'll just keep the back, but I got like this hand like super cool. So let's go on this decoupage experiment road together, because that's what us ADHD ladies do. Okay, here we go. And there's my phone again. Just try to ignore it. Lots of that clear patina again, which is my favorite decoupage medium. So I like it because you can move it around a little bit easier than my experience with Mod Podge. It's not nearly as tacky, but holds really well, and it is 100% natural. So I am just doing one section at a time, pulling that over, then wetting it, and then once I have it where I want it, I will go over on the other side. Hot mess territory. Don't say I didn't warn you. I definitely don't know what I'm doing here, but I can fix my mistakes. There are so many cool parts to this decoupage paper that I cut it apart. I am such a sucker. I love anything collage looking. I took out some of the cool pieces of it, and I'm just going back over it with some of my favorite parts. I really do love the way this dried and turned out. While we're on the subject of decoupage, let's talk about decoupaging upholstery weight fabric. I love a good ticking fabric, and I am going to stamp it with the IOD Rose Toile stamp. I absolutely love this stamp. It's my go-to all the time. Laying it flat and just taking my ink pad and going over it. Now I'm going to just go straight down and use even pressure through the whole thing so I don't smear it. I don't want to get extra ink on my piece of fabric and waste it. We're gonna let that ink totally dry, and then we're going to decoupage. I'm doing something called maskings. All IOD stamps come with a mask that matches the stamp. Whatever you want to be in the front of the picture, you're gonna put on first. Backwards, basically. You're going to put the matching piece of plastic over where you just stamped, and then add your stamps, which creates this really cool layered effect, and then you don't get this weird muddy picture. It's really kind of a fun thing. You can see it's kind of faded. Continuing the tour of the workshop studio, here is the closet. I have a nice collection of paper mache things for workshops. I have, oh, look at that, live stream. You get to see how things are stacked up. Dinner is ready. I mean, the paint inlays are ready. They are dry about 90%. I am re-wetting them and pulling straight up. You might have a little trouble on some edges if you let it dry a little bit too much like I did. It's quite warm here, but look at how cool that is. I'm just using my spray bottle. You're gonna make that your best friend and spray a lot to make sure that those things come up as easily as possible. so thrilled with how this turned out. I'm gonna let that dry, add one more coat of clear patina. And here is my custom cool painted thrift shop wallet. I'm gonna use a really generous amount of clear patina because this is a woven texture and we're gonna have to get in all those little ridges. So I'm going to get it really nice and wet. Then I'm going to take my fabric. The nice thing when you're working with fabric, it doesn't tear. You're going to be able to move it several times until you get it to where you want it, and then you allow it to dry. Would have made this easier if I stuck a towel or something in that basket, but I don't always work smarter or not harder. You can see I'm continuing to add it. I want to get it wet. That'll make it easier to manipulate, and I'm just going to continue to add liquid patina where I want it to stick. Once I get it all in the right places, take my brush and just go into those ridges to make sure it's really going to adhere nicely to my basket. Remember those trays, they need a little extra attention. I am just using what I have left of the liquid patina and I'm sealing the paint so they will stay lovely and the light will bounce off of it once that dries. And here are those white plastic trays I transformed with electrified and IOD transfers. I'm so happy. I like the way this turned out, but it definitely needs something. I know green and black and red sound kooky, but look how fun that is that pops. What a fun kooky spring basket. I have all this extra trim because why not have a whole bunch of trim on hand? And I'm gonna hot glue it around the edges here. I love my cordless DeWalt glue gun. This is not an advertisement, but not having that cord get in the way when you're hot gluing, it's super nice. I'm just tucking the edges and hot gluing them, trying not to burn the ends of my fingers. I use whatever I have on hand, happens to be a pair of pliers to hold it in place. I am loving the electrified with the red and the black and white. It's transfer time again, and you guessed it, I'm using more from that Madeline transfer. It just seems to be endless. One fun thing about when you're doing a transfer that has a big block of color, you can slide your hand under one side like I'm doing here and kind of use that pressure to work with where you're burnishing, and you'll find that it comes up really easily. I just love a picnic basket makeover. And no, I didn't forget about my other bottle. I covered it with that pearl glaze. You can see the sheen coming off of it. It'll show it better in a picture. Again, using the Madeline transfer, there's so many pieces. I am working my way around it. And remember, it had this weird like Patron thing on one side? Well, I am going to just disguise it with another piece of transfer. And here's the second bottle with that pearl glaze. If you like these makeovers and you liked this YouTube video, please like and subscribe and follow along. I love making over old junk and I'm sharing it all with you here.